The woolly caterpillar has came to show us the weather. It's just part of our hillbilly superstition. The woolly caterpillar is a messenger. It comes, it clues us in as to what's going on, and now we can prepare. Well, hey, welcome back to the farmstead. We're glad you're here today. We are busy getting everything ready for winter time. We've been out working some hives. We have a little bit of a warm spell. And as you know, we are big believers that the woolly caterpillar is like a messenger, and it comes to show us what the weather is going to look like for the rest of the year, and it helps us plan accordingly. Now we're here working in the shop. Guess what we found? We have the winter messenger is here, the woolly caterpillar. Let's take a look and see what the woolly caterpillar says this winter is going to look like. Now, if you look, there's segments all the way down. So each segment represents a week of winter forecast. The dark color means a cold winter, and the brown color means mild. The woolly caterpillar has been spot on for us for probably 5-6 years. And what this woolly caterpillar is showing us is that we have got to be ready to feed these bees because it is going to be a mild winter. It's going to start off, looks like the first week is going to be hard and cold, and then you see the next ring is brown, followed by black rings, and then it goes mild most of all the entire winter, and then going to end off on a week and a half of weather. So what in the world does that mean? Well, being that the black rings on the caterpillar signify some colder, harder winter weather, and the brown color signifies more of a mild winter weather. For us, what we see here in Ohio, when we have those mild winters, are usually winters that are really wet, which means ice and mud. And on the farm is absolutely terrible. But what you will notice year after year is that the winter weather is actually too warm. We'd rather the caterpillar be all black and stay all black. That way we have cold weather all winter long. So those bees stay clustered up. They more go into torpor. When it gets too warm, when it's like 48 degrees daytime highs, those bees start breaking cluster. They start feeding. When they start feeding and burning up through all their resources, they can go through their resources really fast. The trouble is when we have days that warm up to 48, 50, even 60 degrees on freak winter days, it can also drop down to 20 degrees at nighttime. So we can get bees that break cluster to go feed, and then it drops so quick that some of them can get caught out of cluster. Sometimes the bees are okay. They can get back down. They can maybe end up on honey, but when you get towards the end of the year, it's really, really difficult for them sometimes, especially if they're in a place in a colony where there is no honey. That can be a big problem. If the bees do have viral loads, they're sick. And so they're not able to withstand that fluctuation quite as much. They're breaking cluster, they're moving around, it's cold, they're going back, and that constant dance, that constant roller coaster is really tough on them. It can be a big, big problem. So the woolly caterpillar has came to show us the weather, and what I like about it, it's just part of our hillbilly superstition, is I feel like the woolly caterpillar is a messenger. It comes, it clues us in as to what's going on, and now we can prepare. Well, how do we prepare for something like that? If these bees are constantly breaking cluster and they're going through extra food stores, one of the biggest things that we can do is make sure we have feed on hand, heavy syrup 3-to-1, and also fondants, sugars, sugar cakes. We got to make sure we have those things, and those things can be put on the colony because they are going to burn through a tremendous amount of resource. So the forecast, as I see it, we're going to have a roller coaster weather, which means up and down temperature spikes, which means those bees are going to be breaking cluster. They're going to be going through a ton of resources, and they might be going through those resources prematurely, What can we do about it? We can make sure that we feed those bees. If we're using a bucket feeder, there are times throughout the winter that's worked out great for us that we can put a little 3-to-1 on top in a bucket just to give them those carbohydrates throughout the day. It makes a big difference. We can also do things like use Hive Alive fondant. Maybe you like the Mountain Camp dry sugar method. Maybe you like sugar bricks. Whatever you prefer, I think it's a big deal to make sure that we get those on the colonies so they have what they need. And what's interesting to watch is sometimes we see that the bees will go up and they'll use that extra feed on top before they burn up the honey. It's almost as though the bees almost treat that like an insurance policy. They're gonna go up there and draw from that before they burn everything up inside the colony. So anyways, you heard it here first. The woolly caterpillar says, watch out. It's gonna be another roller coaster weather here in Ohio. Thanks for watching. As always, remember, be the lighthouse and be the change you want to see in this world. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.